Taos County Community Distillery was founded in March 2016 to revive distilling in Taos County, reproducing our prominence in the Mountain Man days as the biggest distilling center between Missouri and the Pacific. This gives Taos County a chance to create labels from generations old Hispano recipes and today's trendy flavors from hipsters, and gives the world a way to satisfy their thirst for Taos-centicity. We know the world's looking for Taos-centicity because it already buys Taos Lightning, and that whiskey comes from Indiana. Gets bottled in Rio Arriba County with a Taos Lightning label, and it's all over the country. And I've even had people tell me, working at liquor stores here, that when their local liquor store runs out of Taos Lightning in New York or North Carolina or Florida, wherever, that people start calling Taos liquor stores to see if they can get a supply. So I know there's customers who are out there looking for Taos-centicity, and they're not really getting the true stuff, because this is Indiana whiskey. Once we start distilling here in Taos County, people will get the real Taos-centicity. The Taos County Community Distillery gets everybody in Taos County a chance to try out their own labels. Generations old family recipes from Hispanos, today's trendy flavors from hipsters. We'll have a lot of great product here, and we'll have plenty of it because the San Luis Valley potato crop, even the culls, are big enough to satisfy the country's thirst for Taos-centicity, and maybe even the world's thirst for Taos-centicity. Local language, it's not moonshine, it's mula. And they call it mula because that's how it kicks, like a mule in Spanish. Good stuff. I've had some, and those old Hispano recipes are not bad. We've got probably a product that will get millionaires competing for the few bottles that are left over. In 1847, the Pueblo Indians and the local Hispanos went on up to Rio Hondo, and they asked Turley to surrender. Simeon Turley, the guy who ran the biggest distillery in Taos County. And he was not willing to surrender. He had 10 Americans in there, along with employees that had worked for him, operating the distillery. And they were all mountain men with good rifles. The demand to surrender did not particularly appeal to them. They didn't like the look of the mob that was asking for a surrender. So what they did was barricade the distillery and start shooting at the mob, and the mob was shooting back. But of course, the Americans inside the distillery were behind stone walls and adobe walls, and they were pretty hard to hit. And the mob was out there in the open, and they weren't so hard to hit. So the siege went on for a couple days, and then the mob got the idea of setting fires, and with the mill burning down, the Americans had to abandon the mill, and that's when the mob was able to get them. The story of Simeon Turley was he did get away, but he had a limp, he couldn't walk very far. He saw one of the Hispanics, one of the Mexicans, one of the Hispanos, that knew him real well. They'd known each other for years, and he asked the guy to trade a horse for his gold watch, which was a really good deal. And the guy said, fine, wait right here, I'll go get the horse. But instead of getting the horse, he got the mop. I've got an undergraduate degree, a bachelor's degree from the University of Illinois, economics major, geology minor. Then I got a master's degree in mineral economics from the University of Arizona, or as we called it, minimal economics, turning ore into money. The mining engineers turn rocks into ore, and the geologists find the rocks that you can turn into ore. And then I stayed for a PhD in finance. I was fascinated by financial markets, and well, the $10,000 would let us outreach to our target markets, which is growers and distillers. At this point, we want to make sure that anybody who's got an orchard or a field and is looking for a better way to market their agricultural harvest knows that as a member of the Taos County Community Distillery, they have preference in being able to place their harvest and get what is a very local product turned into a global product, because spirits are storable and transportable to a much greater extent than the raw harvests that come out of the fields and the orchards. So, we're offering agricultural processing that creates a global product, and we need to outreach to our customers who are, at this point, the growers who need to turn their local harvest into a global product, and the distillers who have the recipes and the skills to do the best job of making those global products. Give them a chance to create a label that they can distribute through the community distillery to get their own small business up and running under the umbrella of our distilled spirits plant permit.